What's up, guys? My name is Michael Croco. I'm the Senior Global Marketing Manager here at Fox Racing. So today we want to give you a run through of our Speedframe from the Speedframe RS, Speedframe Pro, and the Speedframe entry-level helmet.
All right, let's sit back and check it out.
Hey guys, Jared Law, Fox Racing here to take you through Speedframe line. So Speedframe, super important category for us. Starting back probably 4 or 5 years ago, we made a commitment to helmets, specifically around half shell helmets as well.
Okay.
So went from the number 4 to now the number 1
Wow.
in half shell helmets above $100. So kind of those areas that we play in. And we're looking to continue to grow, continue to innovate, elevate our product with the new Speedframe line here.
Okay, and it's not like it's just we need to make a helmet to capture those sales. I mean, you've got helmets that have earned top star ratings right from Virginia Tech. Like this is something you guys take seriously.
Absolutely, yeah. Not just going after revenue for sure, but like we always start with a rider first mentality. We always want to think, how are we best serving our consumer? How are we best serving that rider? So how do we make it more comfortable? How do we make it more protective? How do we make it lighter, faster, just a more enjoyable experience while you're on your bike?
Right on, man. Thanks. And let's talk a little bit about what you're doing here and how you've helped this helmet out.
So I'm Lucas, engineering manager here at Fox, specifically working on helmets for bikes. And so Speedframe obviously has consumed a lot of our time with my team. I think it was challenging trying to really improve what was already a good helmet. The previous Speedframe, especially the Pro, really kind of became like the iconic half shell mountain bike helmet that you really see a lot of people using it. But there were things like, the visor mech, really, like, it had a pretty basic MIPS integration. And so we looked at, okay, how do we make it safer? How do we just build out the features more and make the next better version of it? But yeah, happy with the outcome.
Okay, so obviously we're gonna head into the lab shortly and gonna see some really cool stuff in there. But helmets aren't just to make us look cool; they are to protect our heads, right? So can we lead off with the safety aspect? I think that's probably the most important thing, right? Yeah. So how did you guys make the helmet more safe?
Yeah, so I think really so we'll start with really our pinnacle level product here, the Speedframe RS. And the protection technology comes from the brand new, and actually exclusive to Fox for this first year, MIPS Integra Split system. You probably remember that from our ProFrame RS. It's not new technology to Fox, but it is new to the half shell game. Okay. It's a dual layer system. So this cutaway kind of shows it really nicely, where you can see you have 2 layers of EPS. That allows us to really be able to use different formulations, different thicknesses, different hardnesses to dial in the exact performance, the exact safety standard that we want. And Lucas really did a nice job of, like, we now have our safest Speedframe helmet that we've ever had in the line. So really excited about that. It now passes the NTA or e-bike certification. And one of the cool things is, because you have these 2 layers of EPS, we can really tune it into either high-speed impacts or low-speed impacts. So kind of whether how hard your head hits the ground, and hopefully it never hits the ground, but in the event that it does, you're really protected against high-speed impacts as well as low-speed impacts now.
Sure. And for those, I guess, who may be unfamiliar or not know, essentially they're like, why do you need an e-bike helmet? Essentially what that means is it's now tested for speeds up to 28 miles an hour, right? Which is probably more in line with aggressive trail and all mountain riders who are going to be crashing at those higher speeds. And the importance of the dual layers and dual densities of foams is for subconcussive loads and high speed impacts, right? Because as more studies are conducted, we're finding out that just having the hardest foam in a helmet to protect you from a 30-mile-an-hour impact can't help you at a 10-mile-an-hour bump your head on a tree branch.
Exactly, right. And I think so you take the high speed, low speed impacts, and then also the rotational management that you're getting from that MIPS system, allowing this thing to really kind of move like a shock absorber, not only side to side, but 360 degrees. So it really is helping mitigate those rotational forces that would otherwise be transferred to your brain.
Okay. All right. So that sounds like most of the safety stuff covered and where the main improvements are.
For sure. I think other improvements are, we don't want to just focus on that part, because all the safety in the world isn't going to do anything if it doesn't fit on your head the right way. So other improvements here is the BOA fit system on the back. So really being able to get those micro adjustments with the dial, making sure you get a really super customized fit. We've also made updates to one of the few things we ever heard of a complaint on the Speedframe was, I don't have anywhere to put my sunglasses. So heard the comment section actually works. We listened to that feedback. We added the sunglass storage on here. So you can see you now have under visor storage solution. The other thing was the visor mechanism. So before you had a mechanism on either side of your head, which meant that sometimes if you went through brush, you went through something, you'd end up with a wonky visor, where one side would be a little bit higher than the other. We now have a center point visor mech on the middle, which means that you can now do not only one-hand adjustability, but you're never going to end up with a wonky visor. It also has that screw, which means now you can really lock it in. So once you're in place, or if you have a GoPro mount on there, you can dial it in, tighten it down, and you're not going to get that chatter that that you sometimes get from other helmets.
All right, so there are 3 different levels of Speedframe helmet.
Yes.
Obviously, you're holding the RS, which is new,
Yeah.
and that is kind of going to be the top tier flagship model. That is going to have a new MIPS system in it compared to outgoing Speedframe helmets.
Yes.
So can we talk about what MIPS systems each of the helmets have and how they differ?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and actually Pro also has a new MIPS system for the Speedframe franchise.
Okay. And then will we be able to take a little better look at the AirNode stuff in the lab as well?
For sure.
Or should we take a look at that stuff here, you think?
No, you can take a look at it now.
Yeah, I mean, we can take the pad out.
Yeah, because honestly, this is the first time. I know it's been around, like you said, in road bikes and such, but I've never seen it in person. I don't spend a lot of time looking at road helmets. But, so as you said,
when you take the pad out, it's like, looks like a traditional old school helmet pre-MIPS, right?
Okay.
But working with MIPS, they have this system where you really strategically place your nodes, and that's where the pad is being held. And then under enough force, it can break free. It's essentially doing the same thing as what the LFL would do, but it allows the pad to have extra movement. And then if enough force is applied, it can, also break free.
Right.
Yeah, I can show you. So the back, you can actually see, has that low friction layer actually attached to the helmet liner.
Yeah, I mean, that is quite slippery.
Yeah.
Okay. Killer. And you said we talked about the GoPro mount is still good. Visor, buckle, fid lock.
Yeah,
pretty
fid-lock
simple
buckle.
and easy
So
there.
kind of you look at the draft down strategy, high level, but really taking a lot of the same features into the Speedframe Pro. So fid-lock buckle, like you just mentioned, you still have the BOA fit system on the back. Same exact visor mech, still have your sunglass storage underneath. The big thing is, from past or our current Speedframe Pro to this one, we've taken weight out. So we're about 60 to 80 grams lighter. We're still waiting for that final testing certification weight to be released, but we're looking anywhere between 60 and 80 grams. So doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's on your head, it's noticeable.
As soon as you handed it to me, it was notable. I mean, I spent 5 hours plus yesterday in the Speedframe Pro, and as soon as you handed me the RS, I was like, wow, that is a lot premium
For sure.
I mean, it's definitely a perceivable weight. So awesome.
And then last but not least, as we draft down to kind of our premium entry level, I like to call it, Speedframe, same look, same visor mech, same everything here. We just move away to your traditional 360 fit system, your traditional buckle. But the great thing about this is that before our Speedframe helmet was at $139, we're dropping price all the way down to $109 on this one.
I know Virginia ratings, I mean, they seem to hold quite a bit of weight, and I think it's awesome.
So for us, Virginia Tech, and collaborating with them early on is basically it's part of our development process. So we call it preliminary testing. So what we do is, usually when we get kind of the first, T1, T2s, which are initial helmets from tooling, once we're at the point where, okay, I think densities are finalized, we're pretty comfortable with how it's testing, we'll then get samples and work with Virginia Tech and see, hey, how is this helmet stacking up, right? And then sometimes we'll go back and make changes, you know, because for us it is super important, and we want to make sure that, you know, we learn a lot from internal testing here, but working with someone like Virginia Tech, they also have their resources, and being able to collaborate is super advantageous. With these guys, we're actually really stoked, because after working with Virginia Tech and also working, you know, internally here, we were able to optimize the helmets. Like, they're all 5 stars. Preliminary, that's how we're testing. But we do see some improvements as you go to the RS, just having the Integra Split. And really what it comes down to is just having more control over your densities, more material. All of that does help. So right now they're racking up like pretty much exactly like, you know, the RS is scoring the best out of the 3,
Okay.
but they're all still within the 5-star range.
Okay.
So,
So even the 109 helmet's getting a 5-star.
Yes.
Probably
Yeah.
one of the more
Yeah.
affordable helmets doing that.
For sure.
And so essentially probably what's happening to the RS is just that peak power
Exactly.
is just being absorbed a bit
Yeah.
more.
Yep.
Very cool.
So while we were there, we asked the folks at Fox about the Virginia Tech helmet rating. Is it something that we and a lot of you viewers are very passionate about when it comes to helmet safety? At the time, they didn't have a final result, but we're confident that they were going to be getting another 5-star rating. And it's now been a couple of months after our shooting down at Fox HQ, and we found out that their official results are in, and the Fox RS, the Speedframe RS, is now the safest helmet of 278 helmets that Virginia Tech has ever tested, with the Speedframe Pro being the second safest helmet they've ever tested. So we thought we would just kind of throw both of these on real quick and show you the size difference, because if you look at both of these helmets, you can see that the MIPS Integra Split does make it a little bit of a thicker helmet, you could say. Once it's on, there's not a huge difference, but the Pro and the RS side by side, you can see a difference just because of that Integra Split. But here it is again, 5 stars by a pretty solid margin. We looked at all the scoring and it was pretty impressive. There is the RS. I feel pretty stoked knowing that this is the safest trail helmet out that's ever been tested, I should say, at Virginia Tech. And here is the Pro that I've been wearing a whole bunch, and I will continue to keep wearing, as it is a super comfortable helmet. Not sure how much of a difference you guys can actually tell, but minimal weight difference and overall comfort is pretty solid on both. So congratulations to Fox, and one more cool reason to check one of these Speedframes out.
All right, come on in.
Oh, fun stuff.
So welcome to Revelist Adventure Sports. This is our brand new R&D facility. We completed construction on this around the middle of April of this year.
Okay. And what are we going to be checking out today?
So today we have a demonstration set up with the Speedframe helmet over in our monorail drop stand. So we'll get down there, we'll show you how that operates, what the certification testing kind of looks like, that process. And then we'll point out some of the other equipment that we're using to help develop our products.
Okay, right on.
All right, welcome downstairs. So we have a few things going on down here, but we wanted to get right to testing on the monorail. We have a Speedframe helmet set up currently. This would be similar to a drop test you would see for certification testing on helmets.
So it's going to be raised up, and then obviously the head figure is tilted a little bit to simulate an angled hit.
So it's set up to understand the mass of the head form with the accelerometer inside of it, along with the weight of the helmet. That's going to change the variability of how high it actually needs to end up starting before we drop it.
Oh, bro, you all right?
I think part of what we're trying to do here is understand
how we can improve that too, right?
Yeah.
So the standard might be right on that edge, but if we're able to do this development work early on and develop a higher performing helmet,
Yeah.
before we even get to the point of going for cert,
Yeah.
you know, we know that we're putting out a product that's going to keep people safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the point.
With a helmet, you just see that it has a sticker and it pass, and it
Yeah.
could be, you know, just under 120, or it could be 245.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a big difference. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
wow. That's, yeah, either way, I would not have wanted my head to be in that thing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That would be rough.
All right, so yeah, we went over some testing, and now we're going to walk you guys through our industrial design shaping space. So this is the area where the helmets come to life from the conceptual point. Early on, we'll work on different shapes. We'll start with, you know, scale models of the full-size helmet. From those scale models, we'll use 3D scanners to produce full-size CAD imaging.
Okay.
And then that'll result in our ability to 3D print the helmet. So this is that space. Each brand kind of has their own little cubby. So we have Fox, Giro, and Bell working in these areas and designing helmets.
Okay. All right, everyone, thank you for coming along as we visited the Revlist HQ and checked out the new Fox Speedframe helmets. We're gonna be taking home an RS and a Speedframe Pro to conduct a long-term review on, so make sure you guys stay tuned for those. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them down below, and we'll see you guys out on the trails.